The bike is stripped, and I believe behind here is going to be, or in amongst here is going to be the block connector I'm looking for. So the switch gear from the handlebar comes down this cable here. It's got all the connectors for in there, including the clutch cutout, etc. That comes down and it goes through there. So what I plan to do is fit this switch. I've already put, it didn't have, this part was to like an over sleeve that went over that and it just pulled apart. So I've put some heat shrink on there to ensure that no water gets down in there. And this was mounted on the other guy's video to that bolt there, which is actually pretty neat when you look at it. So the idea being that the switch gear, it comes, I'll let you have a look at this. This is what it says here. You can see that. Red, positive, black, negative, blue, white, left winker, red, yellow, right winker. But unfortunately the cable that they've actually supplied, this is Amazon, so the red and black obviously are fine, but these are solid yellow and solid blue, but I'm just assuming that the blue and the yellow, that'll be it. So what I've identified on the manual, the Suzuki manual you can get downloaded online, is that the red positive is actually a light blue coloured light in this block that I'm going to be looking for. The black is actually just an earth light, so that black doesn't have to be connected to anything to make this work. It just, but if you connect it, you get an illumination on the end of the switch. And the blue connects into a black wire, and the red, the yellow connects into a light green. So that's the three colours that I'm looking for. And looking at Biker Quest's video, this is a rough diagram of what looked like where he'd plugged these cables in. So if you imagine this is the female side of the connector, he'd plug these into here, like the blue into there, the red into there, and the yellow into there. And then all the other ones connect, things like the horn and all that, so you can turn the ignition switch on at this point and put the switch on and see if it sets all four hazard lights off at once. It's a bit of a design fault. They should have put that on every bike really, for safety reasons, if you have to pull up for any reason, because just indicating doesn't really, it's not quite the same. So this is what I'm going to be looking for. And the connector types that I've got some heat shrink, are these little ones. So this is going to be a bit of a waffle video. So the quandary I've now got is when I identify hopefully the three wires that I need to jack into, you use these connectors. I've used them before, putting the power hub 3 in. That goes over the wire, so the wire slots into that, and that pin pierces it, so you screw them down. I've pulled that off because I plan to heat shrink it. So it's not a very good fitting on this side, so the cable has to go in like the end of here. I'll give you an example. So what I'm going to be doing is hopefully putting the sleeve on, put the outer part of the connector on, and then that goes down the side, and it doesn't actually go in that far, but then you make sure that's jammed in, keep tightening, jam and tighten, get it right nipped up, and it has got a damn good hold. So my plan was to do that and then get the heat shrink over it. Whether that will shrink down to that size, I've got no idea, but the idea would be to waterproof that as much as possible from this side. Do it on all three, or well, it probably won't be that because that'll have to go into the frame, probably on a connector, like a ring connector or something bolted to something. But these three certainly to do this. But the problem is, once you've got that in place, and then you then put that over the cable and you start twisting this, you're effectively twisting the wire. If you get my drift, this is getting completely twisted, as you can see. So I'm going to have to figure out, I kind of sussed it, I think what I need to do is anti-rotate it as many times, count it how many it needs, and then start screwing it on from that, and it should hopefully get back to not being under any pressure in either direction. But the next step, as I say, might be to put these on, but I want to have a little look and see what's going on, and obviously I've got to find this block connector and see what I'm working with. So back again. So just to clarify the colours on this, the red is going to the blue on the blue wire, light blue. The blue from the switch is going to the light green, and the yellow from the switch is going to the black. So bizarrely the light blue is the live wire. And turn the ignition on. Of course you're not going to see an indicator at this side if it works, but there we have it. It's showing up. So both of them flashing simultaneously, so that is correct. So all that remains to do now is figure out how to get these hardwired into that side, because I think that was one, we'll call it an error, but I mean it's good that the guy laid the groundwork for me to be able to do this, and much thanks and respect to the guy, Biker's Quest. He's a decent lad, he answers questions and stuff all the time. But I think what he meant was when he made the connections with these little, you know, piggyback connections into the wires, he did it on the wiring side of the loom, and I think that's what he meant. I think he meant he put them in this side, whereas he says with hindsight he'd have put them on the switchgear side. So in the future, or if there's any issues or anything like that, you know that this is a lot easier and probably cheaper to replace than an entire wiring loom that covers the entire bike, if you get my drift. So I'm gonna, and I think there's more room to work, to be honest, so I'm just going to jack them into here. So now I know exactly what goes where, so the next one should be hopefully when it's been done. Well, here's another part of it. A lot of trials and tribulations, and I just want to make sure when I do this that I do it once and I do it correct. I don't want to be coming, oh, touch the tank just as well, that's not metal. I don't want to be coming back and doing this again. So the original plan was to, let's see, it's not so good this chest harness for moving about. I'll disengage. The original plan, that's the thing coming out. I wanted to actually put heat shrink on it, but I had a sneaking suspicion that the heat shrink for going over this diameter wouldn't actually reduce to be able to grip that thickness of wire, and it didn't, so it was kind of useless. So I've just had to resort to the old-fashioned way of taping it. I don't really like these backs of these connectors. They're secure, but there's nothing to stop water running down that and into it, which is pretty stupid. But they're actually quite good where they connect into the wires. So when I got it all back together, this is a little postscript. I wasn't too happy, and I couldn't find the little piece of paper. I think when it was out here, the original piece that came with the switch, I think the wind soaked it out the shed and it'll be blown around the garden somewhere. So I only had to go with this, what I'd left on here. So I had to go and track down the video. I just wanted to double check. And yeah, I managed to follow Biker Quest's video, because that's the colours he used, and I thought, right, there's obviously something going on here. But this is actually wrong. The blue is the left indicator, and it should be connected to the black, and the yellow should be connected to the light green. So there are two of these outer wires. The two outer ones are in the wrong place. It doesn't actually matter, you know, in the grand scheme of things, because it's a hazard light. It's turning both of them on at once. So, and the other thing that I clean forgot to do was get a wee look in there just to see what was going on with my coolant, and it's fine, the level's good in there, and I completely forgot to do that. So I'm probably, because I'm a bit of a perfectionist, I'm probably going to just unscrew these and screw them in the right place, because that sort of stuff messes with your head a wee bit. But yeah, that's, we're not expecting to see. I was actually right when I look back at the diagram on the second part of the video. The diagram I'd constructed, that shows the wee boxes, the mock-up of it, it was actually spot on, but somehow between getting that to get into this, I've managed to cross them over. Schoolboy error number 2, but I'll sort it out. So this is it, rejigged. The yellow now goes to the light green, the red obviously stayed the same, it was the power supply to the blue, light blue. And you can see the dark blue, which was the left indicator, going to the black. Black and blue. Should have realised, stick them all together. So that should hopefully be it. What I'll do, set the camera on top of there, and I will connect them back up in real time, real life. And there we have it. We still have indicators. Well, we've only got one at the front because I've taken that one off. But that's all connected, obviously. Still great. So, reassemble it now. Reassemble it and that should do it. But, yeah, don't like it when you do something and you go back and you check it and you go, you know what, I could have done that a little bit better. Perfectionism. I am a Virgo. Anyway, onwards and up. So, the final check. Hazards on. Yep, all good. All good. Brilliant. Working at the back. All good. All good. Sorted.